Welcome, everybody, to the Get Off My Lawn podcast. It's Thursday night. It's 8 o'clock Central Time. It's time to get down and dirty for another, what I hope is going to be really fun conversation. So for those of you that are watching this later on and it's not live, tonight is, what is today? August 26th. 2021. Trying to remember now to date these for everybody. So as you're listening to them later on, you know when this happened. But hopefully it will be relevant and valid for a long time to come here. So got a lot of stuff that we want to get through here real quick before we dig in and bring in all of our guests. First and foremost, it's almost time for some Husker football. And those of you who are Husker fans, you know what I'm saying when I say I'm excited, but not overly so. But I'm still excited. So I don't care what happens. I'll never not love them, and I'll never not want to watch them. So I just really hope that really hope things start to change really soon. Okay, enough about that. Couple things we want to go through here really quick. First and foremost, if you are watching live, please drop those comments, whether it's in the YouTube live chat or the chat section there on the Facebook side. And this is coming live on two different Facebook pages now. So I've been trying to share the link to my secondary Facebook page. It's just called Get Off My Lawn Podcast. And I tried to put the exclamation mark in there, and they won't let me put it in the name. So if you're watching out there on Facebook, please drop those comments. Let us know where you're coming from, where you're watching from. We want to know who you are, where you are, and what you have to say. And then same thing on YouTube. If you're new, especially, let us know where you're reporting in from. And if you're not new, you can still tell us where you are, because a lot of people don't know where everybody else is. So get those comments going. And if you're watching this on the replay or you're listening on any of the audio versions wherever podcasts can be found, then if you want to get a hold of us, you can still comment in the comment section if your podcast player has such a thing, or you can join us Thursday nights 8 o'clock Central Time live and get those comments in, or you can email us NE, that stands for Nebraska, NE Sandhillsmedia @gmail.com. So get those comments rolling and make that chat lively tonight, because I think it's going to get that way once we get rolling here. A couple other things I want to mention. If you want to get some cool legacy swag from Sandhills Shooter, you can still do that. We have not taken that down yet. Go to blackswantactical.com, hit the Team Sandhills link, and you can get all kinds of cool stuff. But it's not about the hats that say Sandhills Shooter or the stickers. It's about the hats, the t-shirts, the hoodies, the coffee mugs that say Sandhills Sweetheart with the green lymphoma ribbon on there. So good news. And I think I mentioned this last week, but we did get a clean PET scan a little over a week ago. So the lymphoma's gone for this go round, but now it's just a matter of rebuilding her strength. So those of you that have been praying for Sandhills Sweetheart, please keep that going. Those of you that haven't, but you do pray, you could start praying for her. That'd be great. She's still got a long road of recovery ahead of her to get back to 100%. So very thankful for all of you that are keeping tabs on us and praying to the big guy. Next up, we want to mention that you can go find all kinds of two-way and freedom-based podcasts on the Self-Defense Radio Network. So you can check that out, sdrn.us. You can find this one and some really great stuff out there. Gun Freedom Radio, the Armed Citizen, Armed Lutheran Radio. So many cool shows. I can't list them all, but they're all awesome. So go check them out. After this one's over, then go listen to some of those. sdrn.us, the Self-Defense Radio Network, very proud to have been invited to join all those really cool shows. And then last but certainly not least, we are able to go to two Facebook pages and YouTube tonight because of our sponsors, because doing that multi-streaming is not free. So tonight we'd like to thank John Petrolino, the author of Decoding Firearms, for making it possible to multi-stream. Today's show is brought to you by Decoding Firearms, an easy-to-read guide on general gun safety and use. Decoding Firearms is a comprehensive guide to aid new shooters and veterans alike to get up to speed on the safe use of guns. With over 115 illustrations and 266 pages of content, this book is very comprehensive. If you're interested in learning more about decoding firearms, you can visit johnpetrolino.com/decoding-firearms. Decoding Firearms is available for sale on Amazon as a paperback or a full-color Kindle version, because the paperback has black and white pictures. Be sure to pick up a few copies for your friends and family members that want to get into the shooting world. Decoding Firearms, get yours today. And the cover is in the top right corner of the screen if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube. And again, if you're not, you should join us. It's fun to do it live because it's better than TV. It's better than radio. You can scream at the TV or the radio all you want. They'll never hear you. If you want to scream at us, that's fine. But if you type in the little chat window, then we get to see it. And you can actually clap back right at us instantaneously. So it's really cool. All right. We have got some people coming in here and joining us tonight on the panel. We've got a few of our usual suspects. We've got a few unusual suspects and even a fresh face again tonight. So let's bring some people in. First and foremost, we'll bring in a couple folks that we've never spoken with before. And we're just going to say hello real quick. But first off, we've got the newest face on the Get Off My Lawn podcast, Mary. It's Collison, right? Mary Collison.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi.
Make sure I said that correct. I try to get people's names right. It's
You
just
did.
one of
Good
those
job.
things that says, I respect you. So really what that means to me.
Sure.
Next up, joining us, he's rapidly becoming a very familiar face with us, but that's a good thing. We've got the largest pound-for-pound gun bunny in America, Tony Simons here.
Hello, everybody.
What's up, sir?
Hey, busy.
Good. It's a good way to be. I'm glad you were able to give us some of your time tonight. So that's awesome. All right. Next up, we've got two. What do I call you guys? Two jokers, two clowns, two friends of mine from the capital city, Lincoln, Nebraska. First up, we've got Travis P11, the tactical teacher.
Hey, what's going on, man? I appreciate the invite. Thank you very much. It's always awesome to be here, man. Thank you.
Good to have you. And then Defense Dad is here as well, the tactical defense dad.
Okay.
Trying.
Yeah, that's all right, man. Swing and a miss. Thanks for having me.
Needs to work on his hype man skills.
Yeah.
Coming up right now is an okay guy.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
We've seen worse.
Really. He's well, you know what? You'll get used to him. No.
That's still funny. I don't care. That's still funny.
And that's more accurate. So there we go.
He's a nice guy once you get to know him. Just I've said this many times. For those of you, if you ever hear me say he's a nice guy once you get to know him, that is code for he's an a-hole, but you'll get used to it.
That's right.
Worst hype man ever.
That's gonna be my new hashtag. I'm gonna come up with bad nicknames for everybody. I'm gonna be the anti-Chris Berman. Well, I don't know what the opposite of boomer is, but I'm gonna be the anti-boomer. And good, not okay boomer. I'm talking about from ESPN. You young people don't probably know who Boomer even is anymore. So never mind. Moving right along.
The hard thing about nicknames is trying to make them PG-13 and make them funny.
Yeah, you can pick one or the other. Most of the time, you can either pick PG-13 or you can pick funny. So,
well, as the largest pound-for-pound gun bunny in America, I don't agree with that. You make it long enough. It becomes funny.
Maybe that's what it is. I'm just gonna hire Tony to. I'm gonna outsource my nicknaming to Tony, but I'm just gonna claim all the credit. So that's how I'm gonna do it. Clearly, you're better at this game than I am. Okay, who's out there watching us tonight? 23's out there. Jamie Brown's out there. Defense Dad's doing double duty. Tacos and French fries making us hungry. Shooting Money 101, just one town over. So, what's up? And then on Facebook, we've got Josh, we've got Michael. So how's everybody doing? And if you guys want to, this would be an awesome thing for you to do right now is copy the link that you're watching on, share it, hit the share button, send it to everybody. Let's get everybody in here. Let's make this a fun night and get all your friends in the chat with you. And let's see if we can grow this thing a little bit here. So that'd be great if everybody would do that out in the chat. Those of you on the panel, I'll give you guys a pass if you're on a phone or something and it's not as easy to do. So not a problem. All right. So tonight we're going to get stupid. Really? I mean, I don't know how else to say this. I've been kicking this idea around for a long time, and you guys know what's been happening here the last couple of months. All of my show topics have kind of come about because they're the way I see it videos that I just haven't gotten time to make. And so rather than make those as a standalone video where I'm just, sitting here or sitting in the car, then you know what, let's have an actual conversation about it. And we'll see if we can get a conversation started on this. But first and foremost, one of the things that's happened in the last week is that some of the people that, how do I say this? I'm just going to say the other side. It doesn't matter if what side of the debate, what debate we're talking about. There's obviously sides, right? So I'm pro gun, I'm pro Second Amendment, I'm pro freedom, I'm pro anti-mandate. I'm anti-mandate. I'm pro making one's own decision about one's health. Or I'm pro make the parent making the decision for the child, not the government, not the school. So I want to say I'm pro-choice, but with a qualifier. I'm pro-choice as long as the choice that you're making doesn't murder an unborn human being, which is a whole different night's topic. So anyway, but in a discussion earlier this week on Facebook, Mary, you pointed out something, and I just want to throw this out as the disclaimer at the beginning of the night, because we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to move past it, because I had said, what if we acted like they do? And I don't even remember what you had posted or what you had commented. Somebody was doing something and insisting, that they should get their way. And I just said, what if we acted like they do? And Mary said, well, we can't. We're better than that. Okay, so yes, ultimately, that's true. And I would hope that everybody that is of a like mind of whatever topic we bring up, I would hope that they all are better than that too. But then I start to think, but what if? Just what if? What if? Because I get tired of people saying that, well, you should just do it my way. You'll get used to doing it my way, and if you would just do it my way, then everything would work better. You don't need an AR-15 or a 9mm Glock. You just buy a shotgun if you want home defense. Do it my way. Just buy a shotgun, double barrel shotgun, and step out on the deck and fire 2 shots into the air, and anybody that was coming is going to run away. Just do it my way. Buy a shotgun. And, we heard that, right? We all laughed at it. We all thought it was ludicrous. So what if we flip that around and said that not only can I have whatever I want to defend myself, but, people say that education is a basic human right. People say that healthcare is a basic human right. The people that say that, and which I agree, it is a basic human right. Nobody should ever take away your right to health care. Mm-hmm. But people say that, and then the next part of that conversation is the government should pay for it because I can't. The government should pay for my health care. The government should pay for my college education. The government should pay for my master's degree, my doctorate, whatever it is. I think the government should pay for my AR-15. The government should pay for my American-made, much better quality, putting American workers back to work AK-47 pattern rifle, and the government should pay for non-Russian imported 7.62 by 39 ammo. The government should give me some XM 193 out of the taxpayers' pockets, right? To put in my AR-15 that they bought for me. What if we insisted that that's a basic human right?
You know, I gotta be honest, John. As I was walking my dog the other day, I was seriously thinking it would be neat to just change my attitude and be more of a, let's just call it progressive constitutionalist. That's what I think we should call this, where you just outwardly express how things are supposed to be in this country. And it might offend some people and it might step on some toes because, frankly, I'm kind of getting tired of being polite, you know? So I don't think you should have an AR-15. I think you should have 2 AR-15s. You should have one for every able-bodied adult in your home. That's what I think.
I think so, too. In fact, it should be whatever I want. If I want to do an elective medical procedure and the government should pay for that, then why can't the government pay for all of the guns that I elect to procure?
Well, as someone who had the government pay for my health care, they paid for my housing, they paid dental, and they gave me something better than AR-15. They gave me a M16A2, and they allowed me to play with belt feds and shoot grenades and throw hand grenades. But most people aren't willing to pay that price.
Right.
So,
isn't that funny?
Yeah, I mean, you can get all that stuff.
That's true.
Right.
You just got to sign some
What's
paperwork.
the ultimate price going to be for that?
Or whatever they say it is, and you get to fill out your will in boot camp, which is always fun. So at 17, I did that. So yeah, I mean, nothing's free, and everyone's parents told them that. Excuse me. Everyone who's not saying crazy stuff, parents told them that,
Right.
and they believed them. And now we're to the point. I really thought I'd be much older before I looked around and went, "What the hell happened to this place? And why am I in this basket? And why is it getting hotter?"
Right.
Yeah.
I thought I'd really have less teeth and more gray hair.
I would concur with that. Actually, I feel the same way. Now, I never had those things provided to me by my Uncle Sam, and I appreciate all of you who did that. But the trade-off is, yeah, you may get put in a spot where bullets may be flying at your head, right? I mean, that's ultimately the trade-off. Or explosives may be coming up underneath your floorboards or raining down on you. But then I also think, well, where Mary lives, she's not that far from south side of Chicago, and how is that any different?
I'm not far from Rockford. You ever heard of Rockford?
Okay, there you go. So, I mean,
yeah,
That's suburb of Omaha, isn't it?
difference?
it's bad. It's bad.
So, no, it's so I just thought tonight we could have a whole discussion where let's take it to the extreme. Let's just get completely ridiculous. But what are some of the what are the don't worry about me. I've got a podcast every week where I'm expected to talk. Talking's not. I can't mouth today. I has the dumb. Okay, but that's only every Thursday. You guys are used to it by now. What are some of the things that you have heard that if we turn those around, I mean, we would feel stupid, right? We would feel very, very, how do I want to say, sheepish, maybe, embarrassed, to say the least, to even talk like they do, because like Mary said, we're better than that. But what if we weren't better than that? What if we flipped some of these things around and acted like they do and insisted that we should get our way? So it could be gun stuff, it could be freedom stuff, it could be jab mandates, it could be anything really. But what are some of the things that you guys are seeing and hearing?
Well, you mean if we acted like they do? Because I've actually had this conversation.
Let's do it.
Yes, I definitely 100% think that the government should pay for my firearms, and not cheesy ones either. I don't want any of that lowest bidder crap. I want good stuff, and I want the ammo to be actually subsidized by the government, and the training, by the way, also subsidized. So I want to get my job to still pay me when I go somewhere else to get trained by someone else, and pay me to actually get trained too. because I think that's just a natural human right. Well, actually, it isn't. It's a way for me to exercise my rights, and as a human being, as a mammal, I should have the ability to defend myself, and I think the government should pay for it all, including the education. There you go.
Yeah, and if I want to be reassigned from a non-gun owner to a gun owner, I think the government should pay for that reassignment.
Nice.
I want everything the
creative.
Taliban has. I want everything the Taliban has, and then some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
want the
dude, I didn't see
SARS, I
that
want
coming.
the FNM4s. I want the APCs. I want the MRAPs. I want everything.
How about gun-free zones? I don't think you should carry a gun here, so I feel safer. Well, personally, I think you should carry a gun, so I feel safer.
There you go. Okay.
Up to a point, there are some people I would never say that to,
Well,
but I think that there should be gun required zones where you can't have that zone without, somebody has to be armed at all times. Schools, churches,
Yeah.
shopping centers, any large gathering, they should have gun required zones, not gun free zones.
And I think children should be required at a younger age, not only take safety classes in school, but they have to identify as either 9mm, 40, or 45.
And
well,
I think
they
Disney-
used
We don't
to.
want any of these kids identifying as 38 or even a 22.
I don't want any 38 supers. So,
No.
I would really be happy if Disney World would have an expansion where they would have a Masab IU theme park area where you can do tactical training and stuff while the kids are on the roller coaster. You can go over to Magpul Land and just go do all kinds of stuff, like go shooting and run drills and stuff, and you just buy like a pass for the whole day. So
But the kids need that too, then, though.
Are you saying that like
Oh yeah,
there
they'll have
should
to have
be
a kiddie park version of it too, like airsoft or something, Yeah.
there
Yeah.
should be a Thunder Ranch Anaheim branch?
Yeah, right next to Disneyland. Yeah, just they should have a I don't know what we could call it, but
There
I
should
don't know,
be
but Tactical Disneyland needs a kids
Defenderland.
division then, too.
Defenderland.
Defenderland.
and there should be definitely a front sight version.
Instead
Front
of
sight,
Camp
yes.
Smith,
No, but only 1911s.
So we're kind of joking about this, but think about that. They used back in the day. They taught firearms
Right.
and hunting safety in schools,
Yes.
and you didn't have these mass shootings going on. You didn't have as many accidental shootings because you take the mystery out of this kind of stuff, and the kids know what to do, and they're safer with it. So, I mean,
In those days, kids brought their gun to school because they hunted on the way there or the way home or both. And
Didn't
nobody batted an eye. Nobody
Didn't most of us grow up there? Didn't most of us grow up in a rural area where we did bring? I mean, that was allowed. I know I did.
But
No? Okay, I was just
I never
wondering.
actually took one to school, but and by the time I got to high school, as long as you weren't parked in the school parking lot during deer season, there were guys that parked down the block and walked an extra block to school because they'd been hunting on the way in or were heading out before they went home. So they didn't want to break any federal laws, of course, or get busted. But other than that, yeah, we
Okay. No, I forgot that I was.
some of us are not ancient though, Tony. So
Yeah, that was federal law. What, 91? That became federal law, and
Yeah.
I graduated 88. So I still remember being at football practice, and one of the guys showed up. It was our center and one of the guards, and they showed up near the Bronco, right?
Yeah.
Bronco's covered with mud. What happened? All right, we're on our way to practice, right? And then we saw like an 8-pointer.
oh my gosh.
Right off the road across the field.
For real.
In my-
at a bar.
That's awesome.
in my high school,
my
one day
goodness.
I can remember a kid coming in. School hadn't started yet, but everybody was already there. We were congregating there in the commons area. And kid walks in, comes up to one of my classmates and says, "Hey, I shot a big buck on the way in, and I need some help dragging him out of the canyon. Do you mind going with me? And we'll get to school late." And he knew who to talk to. That kid was like, F it, let's go. So they went out and drugged this deer out of the canyon and got it hung up, and then got back into school. And they were late, but it was worth the tardy slip.
Yep. That's what I grew up
Wow.
with. So when I'm listening to people telling me the world's going to fall apart because of AR-15s, I'm like, AR-15's been around since the 60s, bro. That's number one. Number two, firearms have been around since America was founded. There's something wrong with society. That's why we're here. Society as a whole, multiple things contributed to it, and passing a new gun law or making it illegal for someone who's 18 to own a firearm, or even 21 now they want to make it. Yeah, it has nothing to do with it. But yeah, this is ridiculous. It's a ridiculous concept. But yeah, let's get back to what they should do. Just listen to.
Just do things my way. You know, I mean, I think there should be more TikToks where people, instead of being, hey, you know, this is just to educate you on, you know, the latest gender of the day, we should have more TikToks where people are saying, this is just to educate you on the fact that you cannot pass nursing school or medical school of any kind if you believe there are more than two genders. Because that's it. You can't be a nurse or a doctor unless you take the test that boils everything down to male or female, or very, very, very tiny percentage of the population that are genetic anomalies. Right. And that is not the norm. That is the exception to the rule. So the little guy in Kindergarten Cop had it right. Boys have a penis. Girls have a vagina.
Girls have vaginas.
You can call yourself whatever you want. And if you're nice to me, I'll be nice to you. And if I respect you, I'm going to call you what you want me to call you too. But at the end of the day, we all have to sit and take note that emperor is not wearing new clothes. That he really is naked. There really are just penises and vaginas, and a few people that doesn't match up to. But that is not the rule. That's the exception. So.
Oh, okay. Wrong guy from Kindergarten Cop. I was thinking Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I was too.
Screw your freedom.
Yeah, screw your freedom. Sleep with the maid. What?
Right.
I'm just saying. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's gotten to the point. I'm okay. You're okay. Should have been like pump the brakes a little bit when people started making things up and identifying as unicorns. It was like we have to stop now. No,
I don't care. I'm all for it. You know what? You want to identify as a unicorn? You go right on ahead. You want to identify as the largest pound for pound gun bunny in America? You go right on ahead. I'm happy for you if you're happy with you. Okay. The line gets drawn at, if I don't want to call you the largest pound for pound gun bunny in America, then I don't have to. I can call you Tony. I can call you douchebag. I can call you anything I want to call you. So.
And I think that's one of my issues with it. I don't care what you identify as, but can I call you by your name, please?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying you're less than. I'm not saying I don't like you. I'm saying it's a little weird for me to do this. And we can be cool. We can even be friends as long as you don't try to force me to do something I don't want to do.
Why is it okay for them to insist that you call them by a specific pronoun that is the opposite of what we all grew up learning in school, but not okay for you to insist that you're not going to do it? Why is this so one-sided?
That's what we're dealing with now. That's what they're going to do here in Illinois for like kids sex ed right now. And they have progressed it like so much that there's a sheet out, and what they're going to be teaching like kindergartners, first, second graders. It's really kind of scary. I'm like, why is it okay for you to insist that we do that, but we can't say, well, that's not how we do it? I'm like, kids are learning all sorts of really strange things. I think our governor's implementing it in 2023. So I'm a little nervous about that and the conversations that we're going to have on stuff. But yeah, I don't like that. I get a little mad about that.
I mean, a lot of us here in this panel grew up around, in the country, around livestock. I never had sex ed, a formal sex ed education until I was in high school, but I didn't need it by then because I knew where calves and lambs and baby chicks came from, and fawns, piglets, all those things, because I had seen nature at work. I knew what procreation was about. I knew how that life cycle happened. And so having the sex ed was more a case in the mid 90s when I was in school, was more like, hey, there's AIDS now. there's hepatitis, there's all these things that you don't want any of. And you know what? We call them sexually transmitted diseases in those days. They were STDs. And if you're going to have sex, then wrap it up because nothing else is safe. And so that's kind of that's where the class is all kind of centered around by the time that I got to school. And now you can't even say that. You can't say abstinence is the only 100% effective method to prevent STDs and pregnancy. You can't say that, even though it's still true.
Right. No, now it's not even just that. Now what they're teaching is positions and everything else. And it's like, why does a child in, I don't know if it's 5th, 6th grade, why do they need to know about anal? What are we, why?
Well,
why?
Why
do we need this?
Not a statewide, but I've heard of certain districts that were kicking around bringing in like softcore pornography in a grade school.
That's what's
or even
happening.
A high school setting.
Yeah.
And
we're going to have some conversations with the school.
Right?
You're going to hear from me again.
I'm just laughing.
There's nothing wrong with, you can show Porky's in the classroom. That's fine. There's nothing in that. Wait a minute. What? Huh?
Wait a minute. I remember how excited we used to be when they pushed the TV on the card in for AV Day. Man, I go nuts now. It's like, oh yeah, Red Shoe Diaries. Here we go.
Pull out your phone.
Now, here's what they're making us do at work. I forgot to sign it, but they had paperwork that said you will refer to people as a pronoun they identify as and something, and I just forgot to pick it up. So, I mean, it slipped my mind for the entire week. They had it there.
Oh, my goodness.
I was busy. And they said some penalties or something, but since I didn't see it and I didn't sign it.
See what? Sign what?
Look, I told them when I started at that job. When I told them when I started that job, I'm Helen Keller. I don't see nothing. I don't hear nothing. That's all.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Good morning.
Interesting take on life. I have to remember that one.
Yep.
Oh, this is why I'm self-employed. I don't think I could work for anybody anymore. I would be. I don't know.
This is why I have a podcast. I have got. I've said this before. I work a full-time job as a retail sales associate. My job is to sell things and do customer service and make everybody happier when they walk out the door than they were when they came in, no matter what they're in there for. Yeah. And I've got to make people happy. I've got to perform, and I've got to smile and shine. And then on the weekends, my wife and I have a DJ company, and we're doing dances and wedding receptions. And again, I've got to make everybody happier at the end of the night than they were at the beginning of the night. And I've got to shine, and I've got to perform. And I love doing it. Don't get me wrong. It's how I'm wired. But sometimes I get on Facebook or I come into this podcast and I just got to cut loose. And because there are so many stupid people out there, and there are so many more uneducated and ignorant people out there that just drive me nuts. And so this is, again, it's a topic that I can't really bring up anywhere but the interwebs. Yeah. Because I can't talk about this at work so much. I can't with customers, and then my coworkers don't want to hear it. They're not necessarily of a different mindset than me, but I'm just the one that's willing to run my mouth about it. But I try not to do it too much at work because they're not as hardcore as I am on some of this stuff. So that's why I have a podcast, so I can run my mouth and I can sound off. And you know what? Sometimes I piss people off and I say things that they don't like, and that's okay too, because I just don't care. It brings me to another point. When did we get to a point in America, the land of free speech, which I know it means that I can't get locked up by the government for using free speech. It doesn't mean there are no consequences for my fellow Americans for free speech. But when did we get to the point where I have to give a crap what you said, or if what I said offended you?
Roughly about 12 years ago.
Right, now, to take that point further, if if there's somebody from the other side, I still haven't figured out the right term for people that aren't like me, so I'm just going to say the left, because not all liberals are bad, not all Democrats are bad as far as my points of view and getting along with them, but people on the far left, I tend to not agree with anything that goes on in their brain. And so I'm going to just say the left is a general catch-all term, but why is it that somebody from the left can come up to me and say that if I haven't gotten the jab, that I'm a terrible person, I'm a terrible Christian, I don't love my neighbor, and I value my freedom over keeping their grandma alive, and if I don't get poked in the arm with a needle, then I'm going to kill grandma.
Because the mainstream media has slanted it that way. They've slandered anybody that is pro freedom, pro making a decision educationally.
And because I'm a white heterosexual male Christian gun owner, freedom lover, it's okay to offend me. I don't matter. I'm such a terrible person. You know, I'm lower than whale poop, and which is pretty low.
Your toxic masculinity as a toxic white male,
right? Yeah, if it's toxic, it's not masculine, and if it's masculine, it's not toxic. And even Aaron Paulette agrees with me on that one.
Well, I want to apologize to all the white guys that can't catch a break. I'm sorry for your hardship.
Then Tony just comes in here flexing his black privilege.
But he agrees with us, so they're going to call him like he's a white dude. So I mean, really?
Oh yeah, Uncle Tony or Uncle.
Yeah, exactly. So I've been called that, and I find it funny. Look, freedom is freedom, and it's not even the fact that if I don't agree with you, it's the fact it's if I even question things that somehow I'm wrong, and I'm like, wait a minute, you don't have to agree with me, but you're telling me I can't even ask questions now? I'm like, that's not something we do in America. We're founded on World War II broke out, and we voted for war, and I think there was 1 or 2 senators that were like, nope, we're voting against it. Like we don't have to agree. We can question anything. And I'm like, oh, no, you're wrong here. If I can't act, and I think the problem a lot of us are finding is we're talking to people on social media, and we're not. And when we have conversations together, that's what the diversity shoot does. Have conversations one-on-one, and you talk to reasonable people that understand that you can see something from a different point of view, and we don't have to agree on everything as long as we don't start off, hey, you anti-vaxxer, dude, I don't even know some of the words, and because I just refuse to even pay attention to it. But it's like, no, the things you call me online, you never say to my face, because you know there'd be consequences. Now, you guys know me. Most of you've met me. I'm not going to punch someone in the face over words. But they don't know that.
No,
they don't know that.
Some people I'd like to.
See, he's a lover, not a fighter, but he's also a fighter, so don't start crap with him.
That's a big part of the problem, right? Though, because think about it, it's become, and everybody knows this, it's become much, much worse in the last year and a half because people have been regulated to their homes. They've had to hold up at home, not go out, and the keyboard warriors have just gone out of control. You can say anything you want to on media, and there's no one there to call you on it. And if you do, boom, just block them from your channel. I mean, it's the. I'm sorry, I'm going to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but the government has gotten so much control and telling people what they can do. People are afraid to go out of their houses, and you just split the country even worse. It works great for them because they've been able to just do whatever the hell they want to, basically. And
and also, don't forget this part: the social media companies have taken their side. So even if you are marked back, you'll be booted off your account. So it's not as if you can go tit for tat. Exactly. It's like, no, you say the wrong thing, you're out.
I put a post up on the Facebook.
Does anybody else get warnings? Like, when you're posting on either Twitter or Facebook that says they've warned you, if you post this is like the type of rhetoric you've used before, and if you do it, you'll be blocked? or you'll have issues or whatever. You'll get a ban or whatnot.
I
I've
don't
had
get-
that 3 times. Once
I
on
don't get
Twitter
warnings
yesterday,
on-
and then on Facebook.
I don't get warnings on posts, but I do get warned when I click like on a Facebook page. Depending on the page, sometimes it'll pop up first and say, "Are you sure you want to do this?" Because
Yeah.
this page has a history of posting things that people find offensive.
Yeah, no, this was like on like I'm going to respond to somebody, and because it has a keyword in it or something that they have already
Oh.
marked as bad, I get a warning beforehand. So you got to go back and like type in something else or an acronym or something. I don't know, but yeah,
Right.
they're really watching it.
Well, and
Yeah,
that's the thing. If you have conservative values, if you believe in Christian values, that sort of thing, you are you're the enemy. You're evil. And if
Yep.
you disagree with all the other really liberal things on it, like you don't have a free voice on those platforms
Right.
to, like you said, to argue with them. We have to. It's like we have to watch what we say so much, just because it's become the norm to be, like you say, the far left. Like the common sense and the common ground within this country is like it's used to be here. It's nowhere anymore. You're either way over here or you're way over here, and people have lost the ability to have conversations and argue, but still respect each other.
That common ground is the single most dangerous thing to the far left's agenda that there is, and that's why they can't afford to have any common ground. They can't afford to let us just talk to each other like grown-ups either. So I put a post up on Facebook here a few days ago, and it was just another one of those epiphanies, that I've had while I'm driving along or whatever. Luckily, I remembered this one in time to make it into a post. But I basically said that the only difference between a conspiracy theorist and someone who's woke is that one of them gets censored on social media and one of them doesn't. So one of them is getting patted on the back by the media, social media, and all of the far left blue check marks. And they're getting congratulated for the things that they're saying, no matter how derogatory they are, no matter how sickening they are, or blatantly attacking they are towards somebody else. The conspiracy theorists, however, have been painted with the other brush that says, well, that's a bad thing. And just to be labeled a conspiracy theorist, that used to be reserved for that dude that lived up in the mountains in a bunker underground, with an armadillo shell on his head. Right? That was a conspiracy theorist who swore that the gay frogs were coming for him, and he was going to have a laser grid set up in the trees to not let him through. But now conspiracy theorist means I won't accept anything at face value. I question it, and I want you to show me sources, and I won't believe you just at face value.
Yep.
If you don't accept face value, you're now a conspiracy theorist.
It used to be called a contrarian.
Yes.
Used to be called a contrarian. I want you to prove what you just said because I find it suspicious. Now it's somehow I'm hateful. And I'm like, no, I don't have. Matter of fact, I love everybody.
If I don't believe you, then I've microaggressed you.
And now, and yes, and now we've gotten the words that I don't know what they mean.
So
I don't know.
Tell,
okay.
Near as I can tell, microaggression is if I say something that that isn't blatantly racist or sexist or something like that. If I called you an N-word or something like that, then clearly I would understand if you got upset, right? Because I've got more respect that I'm not going to do it.
What words start with N are you talking about?
Nightshade. If I called you a nightshade.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler. Nightwing. You do
Okay, it was
just like Dick Grayson.
Nightcrawler.
I was just confused. A lot of words. There's lots of words.
Well,
no,
you talk about this stuff.
Ninja. That's the word. Okay.
Ninja.
You
Put it on a
look like
t-shirt.
a Japanese special forces commando. So
you talk about that
but
stuff,
here's the
and
thing. A microaggression means that I say something that anybody else would not even think twice about. But for some reason, it offended you. You took offense, because offense can never be given; it can only be taken. And therefore that I microaggressed you because because I said something like that. Microaggressions are the things that I don't even mean to be aggressive. Okay.
Okay.
So I think that's what it is. Now, I've had people talk about that with me before and be like, well, that's a microaggression. And I'm like, no, it's not aggressive at all. You take it how you want, but it's not meant to be aggressive. But if you want to see aggressive, come over here and I'll show you macro aggressive and we'll get somewhere here.
Well, that's
so you talk about this, and I just want to. So companies are getting involved in this, like and I'm not going to say where I work, but my company, we're inundated with these trainings and how to be sensitive to microaggressions, so much to the point where it becomes a microaggression towards me because my values or my beliefs aren't valued by the company, and a lot of people go through this like. The very thing they're trying to stop is now creating microaggressions against people who have what I consider just, again, conservative values, and they're alienating. We took a survey at work, and they one of the questions was, how do you feel there's a place for you in this company, or did you fit in with this company? And I answered no, because anymore, like I'm inundated in so much stuff. I know they're trying to make other people's lives better, but they're doing it so intensely without intending to. They are alienating other people.
You honestly could claim that you've been microaggressed.
Yeah, it really is. It's true, and they don't mean it, but they're so focused on including everybody that they're excluding a lot of people now.
Well, also, I see it as they're also condescending as hell. And that's one of the problems. I don't need you to be offended for me. All right. I can handle it. And I think that's one of the problems. And I've seen it since I became an adult. And it's only gotten worse. When, the assumption that the poor black dude needs the white savior to come save him from
to help you
to save me from words. I'm like, I grew up in Virginia. I went to school in Mississippi. Trust me, you're not gonna say something that shatters my world.
What's that got to do with anything? Does your black privilege card not work in Mississippi?
I went. Son of a.
I didn't mean to address you there. I'm sorry.
You know how much I paid for this, and you're gonna make me choke on it? Son of a gun.
For those of you that can't see the screen, Tony likes to puff a cigar, but I accidentally made him inhale.
Oh my god! Oh, well, that's ruined.
I smoked cigars for 2 years before someone told me you weren't supposed to inhale the damn things.
Oh, wow. So,
what's the point?
That's a masculine man if you take a full drag on a cigar.
Well,
yeah, I wanted the nicotine.
So, have you ever considered vaping instead? Okay, sorry.
No, I'm straight. I'm straight. No. So, as I was saying, I remember being in Mississippi, and back in the day, Mississippi Burning came to the theaters. Now, I didn't know what Mississippi Burning was about. Reason being, I just got out of boot camp, so there wasn't television there, and I was in school down there, trade school, and not much time to watch TV. So I went on a date with a girl for the very first time, and this is a white girl I decided to go out with and take out into Jackson, Mississippi on that first date to see that movie.
Oh.
It's one of a long line of bad decisions I've made in my life, but it was entertaining. So we're sitting there, and I figured, hey,
Pretty Woman was probably staying right next door. Okay.
Yeah, didn't know any better, right? So we're sitting there, and the movie comes on, and we're watching. I'm like, oh okay, this is all right. This is cool. It's a good movie. Movie's going, and of course we're in Mississippi, and let's just say, I guess everybody was white. I don't know. Lights were off. I didn't check. I didn't do a white people head count. So I'm sitting there, and then they blow up the church. with the little girls in it, the 4 little girls, and people started laughing. And I looked at the girl I was dating, and I was like, "Listen, this might go sideways real fast. So let me explain something. If I take off running, you just walk the other way and pretend you don't know who I am." I'm like, because I can do like 3 miles in 18 minutes. None of these rednecks don't catch me. And you on your own. Just walk the other way. Nobody knows. It ain't like you got a t-shirt with my face on it. That came much later. And so we got this. Yeah, that was one of those bad decisions I made that could have turned out
That's awesome.
not good.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that story.
So now I read the syllabus or whatever you call it on movies before I go.
It's probably best to know what you're getting into, and especially in Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
So Pat has joined us from his bunker in an undisclosed location under we don't even know which state. So what's up, Pat?
Well, I was watching Tony just about vapor lock on the internet. That was kind of funny and entertaining at the same time. And listening to the story about Jackson, Mississippi, and a white girl. Oh boy, that's entertainment on a Thursday night. I don't care who you are.
What the heck did I walk into? Pat's thinking.
Did you go on a second date? Is my question.
Oh yeah, we dated. We dated for a while. Yeah, she was awesome.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
So
no, I'm doing good.
I'm thinking she microaggressed Tony by taking him to that movie on her first date. I mean, I can't believe you did that microaggression.
Can you at least get a refund?
I did get out of there though. Like the movie ended, and we were like, "Let's go, let's go right now."
Here's what I want to
Right
know.
before the credits roll, get out.
You might not remember this, but what I really want to know is when the lights came on and people turned around and saw you, did anybody like poop a brick?
Let me explain something. I still don't know if segregation took place. That's how early I walked out before that movie ended. I'm like, please. So how did it end? Are we free? We're not sticking around. We're not sticking around.
We were until roughly 2019. Yeah, that segregation is pretty well ending now. But
okay.
You can pick your bus seat.
I was out.
It was gone for a while. It was a beautiful thing. They're bringing it back, but it was nice while it lasted. We had a good run.
We could
use the same bathrooms and the same fountains. So now, but here's what's going to happen. Instead of colored fountains like there used to be, now there's going to be people of color fountains.
Vaccinated and unvaccinated.
Yep. Yeah, or that. But there's people of color that that Whitey can't go there. So
it was bothersome because different words. When you're in the military and you go overseas, at least that's what I felt when I went overseas, because it happened to my uncle too, who was in the early 80s. When you get in that environment that's just military people, especially again overseas, that you get away from American society, everyday life, things you see. Mm-hmm. And then when you come back, there's a gap that you weren't aware of because you're an American, right? You're hanging around America, you're speaking English with other Americans, but you don't understand that you're all kind of insular. So I came back. I left America as a black man. I came back as an African American. I'm like, when did this word take place? And now I don't know what happened that I missed the whole people of color thing. And I'm like, no, I'm still black. That whole people of color is like, what the hell does that mean? I mean, like, because my sisters are mixed. Are they still people of color? Yeah, like, for those is it just a deep pan? I mean, what's people of color?
For those of you out there that aren't watching on YouTube or Facebook and can't see the screen, or Patriot in the Dark, who is listening on YouTube but still can't see the screen, Tony, and I've met Tony. Tony's not black. You're like a semi-sweet chocolate or a Hershey's milk chocolate.
Light chocolate,
right? I mean, you're not.
Oh my God. I knew I should not have let you lick my hand when we met.
I just wanted to know. I just want
Wow,
to
things
see.
got really weird really quick.
Yeah,
It's not weird. That's microaggression. Calm down.
Black people do not taste like chocolate.
Oh
I
my
know now.
goodness.
I know now.
Don't tell
I
him
did the
that.
research. You don't have to.
I use
Tony,
that
did
trick
you
a
look
lot.
back to see if it tasted like white chocolate? I mean,
Oh goodness.
I'm not even
Well,
touching that.
I think the tea chat was on the rails at one point. It's definitely not on the rails anymore.
No,
whew.
not even
How to
close.
teach you to have me on?
Does that mean I taste
Doggone
like
it. Who invited him anyway?
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to start putting Tony's name in the video description on the weeks that he's on here because I think people will tune in knowing that you're here just because it does get nuts in here pretty quick. So on a little more serious note, I did want to put this comment on the screen from unknown user because going back to microaggressions again. Unknown user says microaggressions are supposedly built into our vocabulary and are societal to the point of being nearly undetectable to the aggressor without them being pointed out to them. So I would agree with that. And it's pretty much what we said. If I microaggress somebody, I don't know that I did it
Right.
because I didn't say something that was, number one, intended to be aggressive or incendiary. And number two, again, it goes back to okay, so I said something that you didn't like. You felt that I came at you with my words, which I mean, again, even if we're talking in person and I'm over here and you're over there, and I didn't get up out of my chair to say it, I don't see how you could feel threatened by that in the least. What I said was again, if it's a microaggression, that means that I didn't overtly say something aggressive to you, and so I don't get it. The part that I understand that it happens or people want to say that it happens. The part that I don't understand is, again, why we're giving people such a platform to piss and moan about it when they get microaggressed. Who the F cares? Honestly, we all have lives. We all have things to worry about. We all have mask mandates, whether they're governmental or employer, that we're trying to fight against right now, or for our kids in schools or whatever is the case. There's so many things to worry about. Like if Jihadi Joe is actually going to open up a discount M4 shop down the corner from me, because maybe we can import American arms from Afghanistan since we can't do the Russian stuff right now. I don't know what's going to happen, but honestly, I could care less if you got offended by what I said. If you're somebody that I really care about, and I do value your opinion, and you tell me that you didn't like what I said, then I'm going to care that you said it. But maybe we can have a conversation.
I think the whole taking like offense to all those little things, or even calling it microaggressions, I don't know, whatever they're calling that. It's almost like everything is labeled bullying, or maybe it comes out of that whole, everything has been kind of sissified. Like you can't, I don't even know how to put it right. You know what I mean? Like everything is labeled bully these days. Everything is labeled that.
Again, it's such a crock of BS because bullying is fine if you're bullying somebody for not wearing a mask. If you're bullying them because they said that, because this is where I am on getting poked in the arm with that particular needle from the PF or the whatever. You see how we have to codify things just to not even get thrown out of YouTube. So here's where I stand on it. I still have not seen any data that I consider reputable that shows that getting stuck does anything for me that having had the virus hasn't already done for me. And every time I bring that up, no matter where I bring it up, I get one of two reactions. Either it's somebody who already feels that way too, and they just nod their head and they're like, yeah, me too, I know. Or I get somebody that says, open your eyes. Don't you see how many people are dying? Yeah, yes, I do. I do. COVID sucks. Okay, we're all going to get exposed to it eventually. That's the only way that this happens. There's no other way for this to end. We all get exposed. We either get it or we don't. If we get it, we either get sick or we don't. If we get sick, it either kills us or it doesn't. That's every disease, right? So At what point, again, in the land of the free, did it become okay for me to not make the decision, weigh the risk, accept the risk, knowing that I also accept the possible consequences of the risk that I'm taking? To me, it looks like a gamble either way.
Well, the problem is the media, and us in America coming to realize that Americans aren't any smarter than anyone else. Even though we have,
I'm not sure if you have a Facebook account, you are.
that if with all the information we have at our fingertips, we still don't look into things. We don't ask questions anymore. And it's amazing because, again, being old, as you pointed out, I was growing up in a time post-Vietnam when no one trusted the government.
Right.
I was there when, Nixon got kicked out of the White House and public trust in government was an all-time low. I grew up in that, and I'm like, what do you think changed that made the government into good guys? Like, what cataclysmic event happened in America that made these people trustworthy? And when you ask that question, they look at you like, humana does not compute.
Right.
As I posted the other day,
I can answer that, actually. We got rid of the politicians and hired a movie star to run the country for 8 years.
Oh, I thought it was Farm Aid. My bad.
Yes, it was Farm Aid. Never mind.
Farm Aid did it. Willie Nelson, damn it.
Oh my gosh.
Willie Nelson.
Mellencamp was there too. Because he grew up.
Yeah, but I try not to remember. I only remember one song he did. Little Houses. That's
Farm Aid and Oprah, man. They just cured the country.
Well, that's the issue. Well, everybody remembers today's Oprah. No one remembers the Oprah that had the stupid shows on, that were pretty much Jerry Springer with Oprah. That people forget that Oprah. I just find that everybody all of a sudden somehow trusts the government because they told you to. And like I posted the other day, our movies, our literature, all that stuff says government bad guys. Government bad guys. You grew up with it. You see it on every TV show. There's always, three black Suburbans full of government bad guys that pull up with suits and sunshades on. That's the same government that's telling you all the other stuff and divisiveness that says vaxxers or anti-vaxxers or something. I love it, but I became an anti-something because I just go, that doesn't make sense to me. And you contradicted yourself like 8 times. And I can point out when the government itself contradicted itself. And they're like, oh, you're a Trumper. I'm like, I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not.
Think this president's doing a good job. Well, you Trump lovers. I didn't like Trump either.
Yeah, I didn't like Trump either.
I honestly, between the two, Trump did a better job running the country until they took his legs out from under him the only way they could. They tried every other way, and a global pandemic was the only thing they had that could actually stick. Therefore, it worked.
And they switched up on that too,
killing the economy, because the economy is always in a second-term election for president. If the economy's strong, the incumbent wins. If the economy's weak, the challenger wins. It's always been that way, probably always be that way. So they knew they had to wreck the economy, and they were willing to take the country down to do it. And we were a sacrifice they were willing to make. But going back to what Tony said, the reason that everybody has gotten to where they trust the government is because they have gotten lazy. This generation has never had to fight for anything. It's always been handed to them. They didn't even have to win to get a trophy. So they don't know how to do anything for themselves, because they know that if they whine and throw a fit, that mommy and daddy will tie their shoes for them and everything else, and they can still get ice cream and they still get a trophy, just like the team that won. And just because they had more points when the time ran out doesn't mean that your team lost, little Billy. Okay, you guys are winners too, even though you're losers, but we're going to call you winners because we can't afford to see you cry. We can't stand it. So it goes back to
my kids losers, so that they toughen up.
Right? It goes back to that never-ending cycle of
my kid heard me in the other room. Sorry, love you.
Shouldn't you be in bed, loser?
Mom's mean. Mom is
Yeah,
mean.
get your ass to bed.
Right?
Get it! Get off
No,
it!
it
Not
goes
anymore.
back to that age-old saying that good times create soft men, and soft men create bad times, and bad times create hard men, and hard men create good times.
It really
You can
is.
take men out and put people in there. If I offended you by leaving out the other
You
1,001
microaggressed
genders,
me.
but that's okay because you can't reach me from there. And your kid already said you're mean, so
Just wait.
I don't care.
Just wait. One day.
And I do think the microaggression and all the complaining and the offendedness, it gives people that don't have anything going on power. They got nothing. They're not the boss or anything. If they own anything, they're selling stuff on Pinterest. And I mean, it's not like they have to work with anybody or answer a boss or even pull through. So a lot of these people just have nothing. So that gives them some flex. And I learned this
when
from
they
my
agree
partner.
with, when there's that virtue signaling, say with the whole jab, jab, it has a sense of power because they're like, well, look what I did. They're self-important for it. So it gives them that. And I'm like, ooh, some of them must lead really sad lives if that's all they got.
Oh, definitely. They lead a lot of sad lives. Also, don't forget that we're being manipulated by bots on the air. Some of the people that agree with you and that throw grenades in a room aren't really people that believe what they say. It's the 730th account that this group of people have. And then all of a sudden they agree with me. Awesome. You're a horrible human being because, and I'm like, yo, dude, I don't need that from anyone. I believe what I believe in a room by myself. But that shows the kind of person you are, and you have to be strong for that.
Right. And the other thing you get from a lot of people, say you're questioning what's going on with the jib jab is, well, you're not a doctor, you're not a nurse. And I'm like, you know what, though? Honestly, every single person has the ability to go out and get the textbooks and actually understand viruses and immunology and all these different things. You can understand this. You do not have to go to school for this to understand how the body works and all these things. Surgery, yeah, maybe. But you can read these things. You do not have to be a doctor or a nurse to understand how the body does or the possible side effects and all the risks associated. But they look at me like I'm the uneducated one. I'm like, I
love
think
the argument that when I say that I haven't seen any evidence that the vaccine can help me more than the infection did, when they're like, well, do you feel that same way about polio? Because you haven't got polio, I bet, because you got a vaccination for it. Right.
Yeah, well, polio was in natural decline before that vaccine came about.
Number one, that vaccine was been in use and was tested a long time before they gave it to people.
Right, long
number
time.
Two, yes, I got that vaccine, and it maybe did keep me from getting polio if I was ever exposed to it. However, let's talk chickenpox. Should I get vaccinated for chickenpox? I had it as a kid. So should I go get protected now with a vaccine for a disease that I've already had and beat?
And a possible side effect for later in life is shingles. So, it's just choices. It's just choices and understanding how the body works. Has anybody ever seen? We've had several family and friends that their children have been vaccine injured. So I've actually seen the effects of what happens when somebody's body rejects that vaccine, and it is a big problem. It's really sad to watch. So my personal opinion with this is, you don't get to take that shot back. Once that happens, you don't get to take that back. So you had better be very prepared physically and mentally if something happens.
You take a risk either way.
Yeah,
so
it's life is full of risks.
As a grown-up, because adulting sucks, as we all know it, but we're here now. So we can't go back. We have to adult. Yeah. As a grown-up, you have to weigh every choice.
Yep.
Looking at possible risks versus possible payoffs, you determine what risks are acceptable.
Yes.
Right? You get in the car, you run a risk, but you accept the risk because you know that it's better than walking. You also know that you can mitigate some risk by putting on your seatbelt. So you do that, right? Or you don't, because you choose. I mean, you make your own choices, right? And then you live with that choice. If you get into a wreck and you didn't put on your seatbelt, then you know the consequences are potentially greater. And you know that putting on the seatbelt does not guarantee that you survive a wreck. We all know that, right? It's just everything is a risk. You get on an airplane, people are afraid to fly, but statistically speaking, it's the safest way to travel. But I mean, if you absolutely refuse to get on an airplane, then you accept the risk of getting in the car, right? I mean, that's just how adulting works. You accept the risk if you get the jib jab. I like the way you said that.
It was the jib jab because it gets past the Facebook censors currently.
Yeah, for now, you're right. Kind of like
For
when
now,
a couple years
use
ago
the
we had to
jib
talk
jab.
about the big igloo.
The
Because
jib oh yeah,
that other
the
word
big
didn't
igloo.
work. Right.
Yes.
The Hawaiian shirt crew.
Yes. Yes.
You know those guys.
You know what's funny though? With the I'm laughing, when it's this whole, my body, my choice type of thing.
Mhm.
And I posted on Twitter the other day, I'm like, you know what? Why it really feels like I have a whole lot of old white men trying to dictate what's going in my body. And I thought as females, we were supposed to be really super angry about this and like say no to the old white guys telling us how to do and take care of our bodies and everything. So I'm really confused.
No.
What are we supposed to be doing? I'm not angry about it. Only if I wanted to murder a kid, right? That was it. Like,
you should believe all women that tell you to trust those old white guys.
I have bad names for them, so no, we don't trust all those women.
Talking about the jib jab too, so they can't show concrete proof to anybody that there's not concrete proof that it really helps or that it's not going to hurt somebody because they can't.
Technically, they haven't even isolated the virus. I believe they just have the protein.
No, and they rushed the vaccine, the jib jab to the market so fast that they had to get the government to sign off that if someone got sick or died from their jib jab, that you couldn't sue them. So the companies making this knew they were rushing it so fast, way faster than they would ever put something out to market.
Yeah, everything that's happened is another red flag for me. You want me to take this, you just want me to trust you blindly to take this without seeing any evidence that it's going to be okay. And if it does go sideways, I have no recourse but to get sick and potentially die if I do take this. However, if I don't take this, then you're going to make my life a living hell and potentially strip me of my God-given freedoms as an American citizen.
Yep.
And yet, if I question this, I'm the bad guy?
Yeah.
I thought we were supposed to be all about education and learning.
It's hilarious because it's become just do what you say. Just do what they say. And if
for the
we were
greater
talking
good.
about for the greater good. And my thing is this, if we're talking about anything and I'm trying to get you to give me money, and all I say when you ask questions about, well, where's my money going? What is it going to? What are you doing with it? And my answer is just trust me. If that was the kind of business deals we were doing, everybody would agree, no, that's stupid. But this, again, especially if you know the person has a criminal background, talking about our government, and has done crap loads of shady stuff, talks out of not both sides of their face, but like 4 sides of their face. And they're able to change their mind at the drop of a hat and still take the moral high ground. I'm like, so that's who you're dealing with. And then I'm supposed to believe them because you believe them.
Right.
No, I don't. And it's not even if it's approved. It's not even if it works. It's to me, you've taken that choice away. And again, the person I'm dealing with, if it was a person instead of an entity, is untrustworthy. We all agree on it. That the government is untrustworthy. That politicians are untrustworthy. And I'm supposed to believe it because you fell for it.
Meanwhile, at the box office, movies like The Hunger Games and Divergent just get all kinds of people going to see them, cheering on the person who brings down the evil, corrupt government, the oppressive, evil, corrupt government. And then the actors that star in those movies turn around and say, hey, you should actually trust this oppressive government because they know what's best for you and they can actually make decisions better than you. Does anybody else feel like they got slapped in the face, like they got macro-aggressed when it's insinuated that the government knows more about my well-being than I do and that I shouldn't make my own decisions as a free adult American citizen?
Yeah.
That's it. That's what it's coming to. And if you want to take a dispassionate view and step back and pretend it has nothing to do with you, it's pretty impressive the way they've just bent the will and the fate and just everything. It's like, wow, I thought it would take longer. I didn't think you could do it in like 18 months. But
because
it was quick.
Get the people to
it was
argue,
very quick.
If you can get the people to argue and undermine and erode that common ground, then all of a sudden, as human beings, we naturally take sides, right? We're naturally tribal. And so if you're not with me, then you're against me. And if you're not with me, then you're evil. You know, if It's just like Anakin saying, in his opinion, the Jedi are the evil ones, right? Both sides think they're in the right.
Yeah.
You could talk about the jib jab. You could talk about the Second Amendment. You could talk about the modern sporting rifle, anything like that. Both sides think they're in the right.
Right.
And both sides think that they're fighting a crusade, basically. It's really a holy war. So,
but it's still the land of the free unless you don't get the jib jab or you don't want to wear a mask.
It's the land of the free as long as you do what you're told.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah,
and
you're free to do anything.
People, but they don't care about you if you don't get vaccinated.
Oh, and that's the
best.
We're
going to take away your firearms just to make sure you're free to do what you want.
Right.
Right. And it's hard for you to be free if you can defend yourself. So you need to give up your defense so that you can enjoy true freedom.
Mm-hmm. And if you replace,
they're so loving for us.
I know.
If you replace the word non-vaccinated or anti-vaxxer with any race, religion, or sexuality, you're a bigot. You're a bigot and an ass. But somehow it's totally acceptable to discriminate against people if they refuse to wear a mask or they refuse to get the jib jab.
And it's time to wrap up, but I mean, we could go on for another whole round of conversation about how racist the anti-vax discrimination is in New York City.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Since the majority of the unvaccinated are minority races, I mean, it really seems like Bill de Blasio only wants white people to be able to go have freedom.
Hey, what other place did this?
Right. Or you know, I mean, this place, not Nebraska, but this country had
Illinois
had such a similar experience back, you know, even in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
We had experience that last year. There's people who stood in line for toilet paper. They stood in line for groceries. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna wrap things up, but I don't want to cut anybody off, and some of you maybe have been waiting to say something. So, does anybody have anything else you want to add before we roll into some final thoughts? Travis or Pat or
just the role playing was fantastic this evening. I just think we just need to make it happen in real life now. So, yep.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Works for me.
Right. Yeah, I really think that there's no reason why we couldn't normalize pushing back. Honestly, I mean, again, we're all on the merry-go-round in the school playground, right? Those of us that are over 40, we remember that merry-go-round. And you know what happened when that thing's spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning? I think I heard a merry-go-round. Anyway, it's spinning and spinning, but all it takes is one person to put their foot down, and everything grinds to a halt. And if we all put our foot down, it grinds to a halt that much faster. But we've got to quit bickering amongst ourselves and quit fighting and quit letting them take that common ground away from us. We've got to look for it, and we've got to say, no, I will not give up one more inch of my common ground. The not one more inch argument is universal. Doesn't just apply to my Second Amendment rights. Yeah. It applies to me getting along with my fellow Americans. And we all need to agree with that. We all need to find common ground that you are my fellow Americans.
Right.
And if we can agree there, that's that first milk crate. Right? Yeah. And then we can just keep stacking the milk crate.
No, don't do the milk crate challenge.
No, not the milk crate. No, honestly.
Let's not do that.
Honestly, if we can just agree that we are all in this together, like it or not, we're all in this together, okay? So maybe we should look for reasons to band together and come together and be like the story that I love so much that Tony tells about his neighborhood on 9/11. If you could be like Tony's street on 9/11, and if you want to hear that story, I'm going to have to find out what episode that was of the Get Off My Lawn podcast. But it's the very first appearance with Tony. So go back and search through the archives and find that and listen for that story. It's amazing, and I love that story. We can get there. I honestly believe we can get there. I have to believe we can get there, guys. Otherwise, we're done. And I can't live without hope. In my mind, for me to get up out of bed every day, I have to believe we can get there. Okay, I can't give that up. And if somebody from New Jersey and somebody from Illinois and 4 white dudes from Nebraska can have this much fun making fun of everybody, including ourselves, in a podcast, I mean, honestly, the sky's the limit. It really is. So I hope everybody enjoyed this. I hope everybody had as much fun listening as we have had talking about it all. We're going to have to remember this combination of people. We're going to have to put the band back together sometime soon.
Nice.
So we're going to just go through real quick and let everybody have any closing thoughts and then any shameless plugs as we go through. But before we do, I just want to mention again that if you're watching us live on either Facebook page or YouTube, that today's show is brought to you by Decoding Firearms, an easy-to-read guide on general gun safety and use. And right there on the screen. Decoding Firearms is a comprehensive guide to aid new shooters and veterans alike to get up to speed on the safe use of guns. If you're watching the screen, Pat is being my Vanna White right now and showing it off in the lower left corner. With over 115 illustrations and 266 pages of content, this book is very comprehensive. If you're interested in learning more about decoding firearms, you can visit johnpetrolino.com/decoding-firearms. Decoding Firearms is available for sale on Amazon as a paperback or full-color Kindle version. Be sure to pick up a few copies for your friends and family members that want to get into the shooting world. Decoding Firearms, get yours today. I actually had the great idea that once I am certified to be a firearms instructor and I can start teaching intro classes like basic pistol, then I think part of that is going to be I'm going to try and procure a copy for every attendee. So can't wait to get John's a friend. He's a good guy and not just a sponsor, but I can't wait to get these books into more people's hands because it really is awesome. And I've got mine right here. It stays here too. So we'll just go back around the horn and the last one in can be the first one to sign off. So Pat, any closing thoughts? Where can people find you? And I have to apologize. I said I was going to listen today and I didn't get to you yet. So I've still got your Wednesday night show to listen to.
Oh, not a big deal. I just wanted to say thanks for having me on. I know I was a little late getting in, but had some rowdy kids and dinner late, so life happens. So, but no, I just wanted to say you can find me on YouTube at Pat Hirsch, and I got some outdoor videos and I have all sorts of random stuff on there. So if you like random stuff, I'm your guy. So, and I'm going to have a shirt made up that says "Vapor Locking Tony."
Nice. That's
him
awesome.
surrounded in smoke as opposed to bubbles.
Nice.
Hello from
Cognac bottle.
There you go.
Nice. Pat, thanks for being here. And thanks for all the hard work you put in feeding America and the rest of the world. We appreciate you. All right. Next up, Defense Dad. Where can people find you and anything else you want to close with?
Oh, thanks for having me. You can find me on YouTube. I do a little bit of stuff on Instagram. Put out a video yesterday, kind of a fun one, and I got some more stuff coming out next week. But yeah, just thanks for having me. It's a fun discussion.
Yeah, thanks for being here. All right, next up is Travis.
Yep. You can find me over on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Gunstreamer. Pretty much everywhere. Just look for Travis P11. It'll pop up. And I got a couple videos over on my YouTube channel. I haven't been doing it for very long. It's kind of a new thing for me, so do check it out. Just kidding. But otherwise, thanks for the invite, man. I do appreciate it. I had a lot of fun tonight. Had a lot of great laughs tonight. It was great. And no, it's about it, man. But thank you. I look forward to doing this again next week.
I tell you what, there's some of these topics that if we don't learn how to find humor, then it's just going to completely drive us nuts. And so that's how I deal with dark situations is I laugh at them. I find humor. So glad to have you along for the ride, Travis. Tony, the man who really needs no introduction, but
well, you can find me on The Second is for Everyone on Facebook. You can find me on Simon Says Train on both YouTube and Instagram. You can also find me at diversityshoot.com. And you can also find me on page 161 of Decoding Firearms.
Nice.
Very cool. So thanks for having me on the show, and I really enjoy myself.
161, huh?
Yep. Yep. And I'll tell you the story about John another day, and how I know I'm on page 160.
Nice, very cool. All right, well, thank you for being here, and I'm just happy that you survived the entire episode. And we didn't send you to the intensive care unit, so
it was a close thing.
Hashtag not the Rona.
The Rona. I got you.
It's not the Ronavirus. Okay. And then I introduced Mary, but what I didn't say is that she is responsible for 500,000 of the 1 million moms against gun control. So I'm going to let you do a better job than I could of introducing yourself. Where can people find you, and any thoughts that you wanted to close with?
Sure. You can find my name on Facebook or on Instagram. My personal stuff is Mary Schuster Callison. You'll find all sorts of either farm, gun, or antique business items for your entertainment. I'll make goat posts. It's great. Or you can also follow us on our website, which is 1mmagc.org. So 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control, and on Facebook as such, and Instagram as such. So follow along all our stories and shenanigans, etc.
Real quick, for anyone who's unfamiliar, what exactly is 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control?
We actually came out when Shannon Watts' group, that was 1 Million Moms for Gun Control, came out right after Newtown. We came out, and the actual founder of our group basically trolled their group using their name, but against instead of for. And we've basically been trying to empower women in education and getting women hooked up into shooting groups, get them out to ranges, go to the gun shops with them, help them shop. And just, educate them as much as possible. My own sister's a survivor of a brutal home invasion. That'll be a whole other story. But we just really try to make sure that women understand the responsibility that they're for their safety. So do a lot of that. And we're really trying to bring gun owners and other gun groups together. We're trying to kind of be that, let's bring everybody together, because so much diversity right now in terms of one voice and other voices and all these groups. We're trying to get everybody hooked together and be like a little forum, I guess. So cool. Just trying to have everybody be friendly and get along, because we know the anti-gun people really come together very easily and well, and we need to start doing that. We need to get together and be one voice much better than we are.
Yeah, our gears don't always mesh very well, it seems like.
Correct.
End of the discussion. So
yes.
Are you going to make the trip down to AmCon?
I will not. I cannot make it this time. Hopefully in the future. A lot of things right now with birthdays and farm stuff coming up. It's getting hard to, and my husband's a federal officer, so his schedule is a little conflicting with all that. So I try. I'll be speaking in Lansing on September 23rd. I will be one of the speakers at their open march, or their March, Second Amendment March. Sorry. Cool. Brains all over. So I'll be speaking there and sharing my sister's story and some thoughts and everything on what's going on. So
I've heard you share that before. We need to set up a time. Don't let me forget, Mary. A time just for you to come in, and we'll have a whole discussion with just you, and you can tell her story and yours. Right. And anything else that you want to tell us. So.
We could probably have her come on too if you want her. She'll speak.
I'm totally fine with it. Absolutely,
yeah.
It'd be better for her to tell her own story if she tells it. Then that'd be even better. That'd be awesome, because she is one very, very amazing lady. I can tell that without ever speaking to her, just from what you've said. So, all right.
She is.
And then for those of you who maybe are joining us for the first time or don't know who I am, you can find me on YouTube and Facebook under the Sandhills Media page. Used to be Sandhills Shooter. Sounded kind of shootery, so I changed it to Sandhills Media. We also have the new page, the Get Off My Lawn podcast Facebook page. And you can find these videos moving forward there as well, the live video version of it, just like on the other Facebook page. You can also find me on the stuff that a lot of the things on Facebook and just about all the things right now on YouTube that Nebraska Firearms Owners Association is doing. I am a board member there as well. They let me be director of media I don't know why, but probably because I'm the only one of the 7 board members who doesn't mind running their mouth on the internet because I have a camera and a microphone. So, and I've been doing this anyway. So I'm not going to make it to this weekend's annual members meeting, but those of you who are NFOA members, please, if you're not planning to go there, but you've got Saturday off, get to Grand Island, Heartland Shooting Park. The NFOA annual members meeting is there. Some great speakers, some people running for office, some people currently in office. Our DC project state rep, Stephanie Schaefer, is going to be there, who's a very, very cool lady as well. And I've never met her in
fantastic
person.
lady, love her.
Well, those of us that know her, we all love her, but I haven't met her in person yet. And so I was really looking forward to doing that. And because of work scheduling, I can't go. The soonest I could get down there is about an hour after everything ends. So I'm not going to make the trip. It's 2 hours from here. But I just want to mention for those of you who are listening that are NFOA members, or if you're in Nebraska and you're not an NFOA member, you need to go to nebraskafirearms.org, join up, get the details for the members meeting, get down there, see what it's all about. If you just go check it out, see if we're worth becoming a member. But guess what? It's free.
Oh, by the way, I'll pay for anyone's membership to NFOA.
And the NFL?
NFOA. I can't get that right. We know that.
Welcome to the NFL.
What did you do? 3 or 4 presentations at the diversity shoot in Nebraska, and I think by the 4th one, he got NFOA, NFAO, NOAFO, NOAA. Something came out, and it was. We were all doing YMCA before you got done, and I just threw a whole box of Scrabble letters at him, and I'm like, pick 4. It doesn't matter.
I felt Joe Biden's pain with the AFT.
Wow. But no, it was cool. The best part is being a board member, we get to keep all of those membership dues. That's what we get paid from. And
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, I do want to plug nebraskafirearms.org. Go check it out. If you're not in Nebraska, but you want to be an associate member, we'll take everybody. You just don't get voting privileges when it comes to voting for cool people to be on the board. So, but you can at least keep up with what's going on. Get your email address in there. You get the newsletter. So anything that happens that's big, we do push those out. When I say we, I mean not the director of media. It's actually our president. That's in charge of that. For now, it's one of the things I plan on taking off of her plate. So on behalf of Pat and Defense Dad and Travis and Tony and Mary and my beautiful bride, Sandhill Sweetheart, who is not in her normal producer's chair yet. Patriot, I see you out there. Patriot in the Dark always says he's only here to talk to her, and he hasn't gotten to do that since her stem cell transplant in May. And so I know you miss her. I miss her in here too. Trust me, I miss her more than you do. But I tell you what, she's getting stronger. It's slowly but surely coming back, and hopefully everybody will be able to see here. But if you're on Facebook, go find the Sandhill Sweetheart page and just send her a message. Let her know you miss her. Let her know how much you can't wait for her to get back, and just show her some love. Send her some encouraging words. That'd be great. So, all right. I don't have a list. Pat, did you make a list? You weren't here for the whole night, so I don't think you probably had a list.
I did write the list down while I was eating and watching the shenanigans going on.
Well, real quick here, I'm going to go through the Facebook side, and it doesn't tell me which page you're on watching from, but out there on Facebook, we had Josh and Michael, and that might be it that made comments on the Facebook side. Oh, Joe's out there. I think that's it on the Facebook side. So please hit that share button on Facebook. And if you haven't liked the page, please do so. And invite your friends to like the page, both of them. That'd be great. And then on the YouTube side, Pat has our list. So who was commenting out there tonight?
Okay, well, we had DJ Play Nice. We had Blitz, Tacos and French Fries. Yes, please. Mike, NKJO, Patriot in the Dark, G23, Mohammed Arms, Unknown User, Simon Says Train in there and in here. Sam of Anarchy 92. Keith Gregory, Wheeled and Well Armed. Shooting Money 101. Jamie Brown, Defense Dad, and 2 Live Moo.
All right. So thanks everybody for joining us. It's been a great night, a great discussion, and you can. Let me think. Well, next week is September 2nd, right? So we're going to skip next Thursday. I've got a work thing, a downtown concert here in my town that my company is one of the sponsors. So I'll be helping with that. We will not be live next Thursday. So catch us on September 9th, I think is another Thursday. That'll be the next one. So same bat time, same bat channel. Just don't eat the bat soup. Apparently it gets you sick. So... Anyway, thanks everybody. We love you. God bless you. Thanks for making us what we are. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Share the heck out of it. Tell everybody. Help me grow the channel. Not me. I'm growing enough as it is. But right now, get off